Good evening, friends. Welcome back. Another episode of the Fantasy Fellows Show for you guys. Merry Christmas. It's December 26th. It's Friday evening here. We're going to go over the player practice news from today and the last couple days, really, and just kind of basically just get you guys ready for. We got games tomorrow. We have obviously a slate on Sunday, and then the Monday night game this week. So if you guys do have start sit questions, please get them in the comments. I'm going to start reading the player news here. Ricky Pearsall for the 49ers listed as questionable. I'm not sure if he practiced all week, actually. Let me look this up. I want to double check here, because I know I'm watching George Kittle as well. And with this game being Sunday night, it would be nice to have an answer on George Kittle, clearly before Sunday night. So I don't have the Friday reports in there. But George Kittle did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know if he practiced today. It says listed as questionable for George Kittle Sunday night. So if Kittle plays, you're going to play him. And then Ricky Pearsall is the one guy that's truly questionable. He was limited Wednesday and Thursday. They list him as questionable for Sunday Night Football as well. So hopefully we get some news on those. Usually they do like a Saturday night blast. So let's see if we get those informations that we needed tomorrow night. Bashal Tutin listed as questionable for week 17. I don't think we're going to use Bashal Tutin, but we're going to keep starting Travis Etienne. AJ Brown, they have him here on the injury report with a teeth injury. He's officially been removed from the injury report, so it looks like he's going to be fine for Sunday. And good evening to Frosty. I had a Merry Christmas. I hope yours was frosty as well. We need 2 flex out of Pitts, Burden, and Woody. We got London, just a reminder. I think Luther Burden, I did move up in my rankings, which are free on the fantasyfellowship.com. You just hover over the content tab and look at the weekly rankings. I'll probably try and up these again tomorrow now that I have more information. I did miss a couple things on there that I want to update. But I'm playing probably Burden and Kyle Pitts. I'm a little concerned with the Texans running back split tomorrow, because if Woody does look like he's going to play, but I don't know. I think they like Jawar Jordan. You might see Nick Chubb get a little bit of a touch. And I don't have a ton of faith in the Texans offense. And it just seems like there's a lot of questions there. So I'm probably benching Woody here. I'm going with Pitts and Burden. I wouldn't be too surprised. Kittle's been a huge guy that's helped get us here. But back-to-back DNP on Wednesday and Thursday here. I'm looking to see his Friday report. And I don't have a good read on this backfield either. The Cleveland Browns, man. It's technically a tough matchup going against the Steelers. It's a tough divisional matchup. We haven't seen Dylan Sampson play a few games the last few weeks. They also mixed in 2 new running backs last week for us, Travion Williams and Raheem Sanders. So I really don't have a good reading on this. I still think Sampson's their best receiving down back, but I could totally see them giving the carries to Raheem to lead the team. So I don't have a good read on this. I'm still playing Kyle Pitts and Luther Burden over him for sure. I would play Woody Marks over Dylan Sampson as well. I'm interested with Sampson, but part of me is just a little gun shy from just playing something that's completely unknown with how they're going to split their guys. So I'm intrigued, but I think I'm only starting Sampson if I have to. Good news for TreVeyon Henderson. I'm going to have to update my news here because he fully practiced today, looking like he's going to clear the concussion protocol. So I'm going to have to lower Ramondre Stevenson's ranking in my ranks, and then probably boost Henderson up just a little bit more. I think both guys will be RB2s for me this week. The Packers did rule out Jordan Love. If you guys need a QB this week, Malik Willis is expected to start, but he also has right shoulder thing going on, and he's battled an illness in practice this week. I think Willis will probably end up probably in like my middle QB2, low end QB2 rankings this week. So not super sure what to think of this. The Packers as a whole, looks like Romeo Doubs is going to be fine. He battled some wrist things, but he's been full. You have Dontavian Wicks full. Savion Williams is questionable, but he practiced in full. And then Josh Jacobs, limited all week in practice. At least he's not missing practice. He's been able to participate. And then Christian Watson did not practice yesterday with an illness. I'm not sure what's going on there if he did practice today, but I'm watching for Christian Watson tomorrow. And good evening to Epic Ape Fight, Lad or Burden. It's funny that you asked that because I believe I put them back to back in my rankings. Yeah, I have Lad McConkey, wide receiver 21 this week, with Luther Burden right behind him. I'm gonna lean Lad McConkey just because we just got a really nice game from Justin Herbert and the Chargers last week. They're still trying to keep up pace in that AFC race. And the Bears, they get a really nice matchup against San Francisco. I like Luther Burden's matchup. To me, this comes down to a coin flip. I'm going to lead Ladd McConkey, but you can talk me into Luther Burden if you want, because it looks like he's going to go. And I do think he's going to be busy, 4 or 5 catches. But I'm going to lead Ladd McConkey. But I could see Burden having a nicer game because it's a softer defense matchup. So I'm going to stick with Ladd McConkey, though. Oh, man, kicker questions. I'm really bad at kicker questions. Boswell or Mavis? Let me look at this real quick here. I just got to look at the matchups. You can never really go wrong with the Rams kicker. They're going to get points on the board. This one's indoors as well. I believe it's in Atlanta, if I may recall. Let me pull this up here. I'm trying to get my kicker rankings up here. I'm probably going to stick with Pinheiro at home against Chicago. You get the fun Sunday night wrinkle there added to it. I know the Monday night thing would be fun too, but the Rams typically score more touchdowns than settle for field goals against Atlanta. I'm not quite sure how that game flow is going to work. I'm going to lean Eddie Pinheiro here at home against the Chicago Bears. So good evening to Mr. TX. We're having a good evening. Hope you're having a Merry Christmas holiday weekend and ready for some football tomorrow. PPR wide receiver 2 and a flex. We got Evans, Michael Wilson, Watson, Jennings, and Pittman. I also have Hampton, Henderson for RB2. Okay, so the wide receiver 2, I think you got to stick with Mike Evans there. I'm assuming he's your wide receiver 2. And then for me, flex, I'm going to go with Jauan Jennings. I actually have Jauan Jennings ranked pretty highly, even if Ricky Pearsall plays. I have this question on George Kittle. I have questions still on Ricky Pearsall making it through a game, and Jauan Jennings has been pretty good. I actually have him up pretty high as my wide receiver 9 on the week. So I'm going to stick with Jauan Jennings here as the flex. And then RB2 between Hampton and Henderson. I'm going to have Hampton ranked higher. I'm not quite sure what the workload's going to be for Henderson coming off the concussion. I would hope that he's going to be in good shape. He does get the Jets defense, which excites me a little bit. But the Chargers don't really have any healthy backup running backs right now. I don't think Vidal's going to play. Let me look at that real quick. Kamani Vidal, he got a limited date on Thursday yesterday. DNP the couple days before, so he's kind of coming in pretty gingerly. I'm going to stick with Amari Hampton here just because I expect him to get the full workload as the Chargers back, and I know it's the Texans defense, but he's still going to catch passes. He's probably the goal line back. I do feel good about Hampton RB2, so I'm going to go Evans, Jennings, and Hampton for those calls. And hopefully the game script is pretty juicy for the Falcons to have to throw the ball a ton. We do expect the Rams to kind of have their way and do whatever they want on offense. I'm not sure if Devontae Adams is going to play. I thought I saw Devontae miss practice today. I could be wrong on that. Not seen participating practice on Friday. I think Adams is going to be doubtful for this, so maybe that evens things up a little bit for the Falcons on offense, but I do think Pitts in London. Pitts has been playing lights out. London with his first game back last week. I expect him to have a better game on Monday Night Football. So London and Pitts hopefully help you out. Bill over Woody. Yeah. And well, the Krosky Merritt thing, I mean, if he didn't get the 72-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter, it would have been like, I didn't feel too bad not playing him, but he just had to rub it in for that one extra 13-point touchdown. So it is what it is. But he literally has not been a good player all season. He's had a few bright spots, but he's been incredibly difficult to time when to play Krosky Merritt. I think they have trouble with him sticking to what the play is called, maybe, and hitting the right hole, and also just Chris Rodriguez has been there for a few years. He's a veteran that they trust in short yardage situations, and if they need him in a pinch for pass pro, they've liked him quite a bit. So maybe he just needs some seasoning overall on the the overall well-roundedness part of his game. And good evening to Ron. Happy holidays to everybody, and you especially, Ron. Would we trust Jackson Dart or Bryce Young at QB2? We also need a tight end if Fannin isn't a go. I'm gonna go with Taysom Hill. If Fannin can't go, I think Taysom Hill is a really fun pick this weekend. I have Taysom Hill up as my tight end 7 this week. I do feel pretty strongly about him. I'm not looking at Kincaid or Parkinson there. If you don't like Taysom Hill, I would go with Michael Mayer, who I moved up to my tight end 17. I'm actually going to move him ahead of Colby Parkinson here. So he's tight end 15 for me right now. But for sure, Taysom would be my option. And then at quarterback, man, I know we just had Jackson Dart lay one of the worst games we've seen from him so far in his short career. But I'm going to go Jackson Dart over Bryce Young. Bryce Young's at home, but it's a tough Seattle matchup. And Young has been playing better, especially with Ted McMillan. But I think the legs of Jackson Dart, it does look like the Raiders are going to be shutting down Max Crosby as well. So we'll see. I think this game between the Giants and Raiders is pretty funny. Loser basically wins the number 1 overall draft pick. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to lean Jackson Dart. I think he bounces back and has a better fantasy day for you. They do have a lot of injuries right now. Let me pull up their report today. Kayshon Boutte, Mack Hollins have both been listed out, so I'm going to need to update that on my rankings. But Kayshon Boutte and Mack Hollins both out, and I see Demario Douglas been limited with a hamstring. But they're down some receivers. They're also missing a bunch of guys on defense here: Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, and Curious Tonga. But who else do we got missing time here? So Travion Henderson, limited in full. I think he's going to play. So, and it's against the Jets. So, I mean, I could totally see a couple big pop-off run plays. If you want to play the ceiling game, I would say Travion Henderson's ceiling is much greater than Marion Hampton. If you want to just make sure you get at least 10 points, I think Hampton is a pretty safe floor bet to lead the team in carries. But, I mean, this New England Jets game shouldn't be close. I would expect both Ramondre and Travion Henderson to be busy. So, if you're feeling good vibes towards Henderson, I think that's totally fine to play him. And I am going to move him up in my rankings. I'm going to move him up right now. Actually, I'm going to put him at RB14, right behind my Bucky Irving, and I'll put him ahead of Hampton. So you might have talked me into Hampton here, or to Henderson over Hampton. And I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Ron. Happy New Year's as well. I'm unsure if I'm going to be doing a Sunday video yet. We'll see. But we're just going to enjoy this week 17, and hopefully we get some good football tomorrow. I think that Texans Chargers game could be fun. It's a mini playoff game as they're jostling for some positions there in the wild card spot. So I appreciate you, Ron. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, the CeeDee Lamb game is not 9.6 points. Pretty disappointing. Not a nice Christmas gift for you. Yeah, the underthrow on the 2 touchdown passes. It could have been a nice day for him. Since Boutte and Hollins are out, I put Henry in over Taysom Hill. I'm not going to say no to that. I actually have Henry ranked pretty. I moved Henry up just now. I have him right next to Taysom Hill. So I'm into that with this Kayshon Boutte and Mack Hollins injury. I mean, you're looking at Stephon Diggs to lead the team in targets, but otherwise Henry. And again, I expect the Patriots offense to kind of be living on, the good side of the field and heavy red zone opportunities. Hunter Henry, probably a top 10 play this week. So I despise Taysom Hill. I think he's just a weird dude. But with that rushing upside and the ability for a touchdown is probably pretty good for Taysom Hill. So I still like Taysom Hill just a skosh more, but he's right next to Hunter Henry for me. Can't complain. And good evening to Harris. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, buddy. Oh, yeah. McBride to break Pitts' fantasy record. Let's see what happens. I think that Bengals-Cardinals game could be kind of fun for fantasy. I hope that's and I don't really love the week 17 schedule on Sunday. There's not a lot of games I'm going to be super keyed into, but I think Bengals-Cardinals, they got nothing to play for, but it could be a fun offensive day for both teams here. And hopefully we get Trey McBride some big points. He owes us points for last weekend. He did. I mean, if you were able to survive with that Trey McBride game last week, he does owe you some fantasy points on Sunday. I'm going to see what other news I got here for us. Marvin Harrison Jr. does expect to play, so it does limit the upside of Michael Wilson a little bit, unfortunately. I'm going to have to lower Michael Wilson probably just a little bit in my rankings. I have Michael Wilson. I have him at wide receiver 16 right now, but I'm going to put him down by Ladd McConkey, Luther Burden, and such. I'm also going to just move Marvin Harrison down just a skosh here. See what else we got for news. Alvin Kamara's been ruled out. I don't know if I want to mess with the Saints running backs, Audric Estime. We saw it last weekend in a really positive game script, and we didn't get any fantasy points from that group. It was Taysom Hill and most of it through Tyler Shuck and Chris Olave. So probably not interested in Audric Estime unless I have to. The Bears did list Romo Dunze out, by the way. Luther Burden's been removed from the injury report, so he's going to play. Odunze not going to play. The Buffalo Bills have listed both tight ends as questionable. Not sure what's going on there. And then I do see a note here on Harold Fannin. He plans to play. I think most people would, but we'll have to wake up and see what he's feeling like an hour and a half before Sunday game tip-off or kickoff. Let's see what else we got here from Harris. CJ Stroud, Jacob, Brock Purdy, pick 2. Jacob. Who's Jacob? Jacoby. I'm assuming that's Jacoby there from Harris. I'm definitely going Brock Purdy for sure is the one that I want over all these guys. I'm not super excited about CJ Stroud tomorrow. I think I would rather go with Jacoby Brissett, who I know didn't play great last week, but I do like the matchup for Cincinnati. So my rankings, I'm going to have Purdy. He's my QB7 right now. And then I do have Jacoby Brissett, QB10. CJ Stroud down at QB 17. That's where we're gonna sit for those QBs. Any other news and notes that I can grab for you guys here? Again, it looks like Max Crosby's getting shut down for the Raiders. So I think Jackson Dart and Tyrone Tracy and Wan'Dale Robinson should be in your lineups here. I'm not sure if Kamani Vidal is going to play. If Vidal does play, that takes a little bit of steam off of Amari and Hampton, but not enough to scare me out of him. Harris says Pittman or Michael Carter. I just don't have a lot of trust. Like, we've had 2 games from Phillip Rivers, and Pittman just really hasn't been connecting with him. I'm going to go Michael Carter in a good matchup against Cincinnati. I feel a little bit better about him getting volume and some catches hopefully this week. So we're going to go with Michael Carter. I really like Burden in this game. And the fact that he was been, full and fully removed from the practice report makes me feel good about him being able to play through this game. In terms of wide receiver points allowed, if I look at just what the 49ers have done on the season, they rank 20th here, about 33 points per game. They've allowed 14 touchdowns. So there's a good chance that someone catching a touchdown in this game for the Bears. And I still think Luther Burden might just be the better player than DJ Moore at this point. I know DJ Moore had a big touchdown last weekend, but I would probably say 4 or 5 catches, 60, 70 yards for Luther Burden. He's been making big plays as well. So I feel good about him in a full PPR getting your 10, 12 points if that's what you're looking for. It's just a matter of the touchdown happening or not. And yeah, I like Luther Burden. Man. That's tough. I'm looking at my running back receiver rankings. I have Ramondre higher right now, but that's going to change. I think I'm going to go Tet McMillan. He's been playing pretty well. I know it's a tough matchup against Seattle, but I would like to think that Bryce is going to continue to force feed him targets. Seattle does rank 9th in wide receiver points allowed, giving up about 27 points per game, but I would think McMillan's probably where I want to be. I could easily see Ramondre, though, being the safe play if you're nervous about McMillan. And I don't think Brees is the answer here. I think it's Ramondre or McMillan. I'm going to say Ramondre is the safe play against the Jets. So that's kind of where I'm going to sit. And I know Henderson's going to play, but I think both running backs will be heavily involved. And good evening to Rabe. Pick 4, ETN, Hampton, Jacobs, Kieran, or Myers. I believe that's Jacoby Myers here. I might just lean with all the running backs. I do like Jacoby Myers. He's been pretty solid. I am nervous about Josh Jacobs tomorrow. I don't know what the split's going to be. So I'm for sure playing Kieran Williams against Atlanta. I'm for sure playing ETN against the Colts. It's Hampton, it's Jacobs, it's Myers. I kind of want to get Jacoby Myers in there, so maybe he'll be my third option. And then it's going to come down to Hampton or Jacobs. I don't know if you have a good feeling either way. I might say Amari and Hampton would be the one that I feel better about getting more touches. It's just with Jacobs, we don't know if Emmanuel Wilson's going to be getting touches. You also have a downgrade with Malik Willis a little bit there. I think there could be a split that we just don't really know what we're seeing. I like that the game's in Green Bay. Jacobs could have a nice game in this one. But I don't have the greatest feeling or vibe here for the Packers offense right now. So I might lean sitting Jacobs. Man, I'm going to sit Josh Jacobs here. He's my RB18 right now in my rankings. Hampton I have at 15. In my receiver running back rankings, I do have Jacoby Myers ranked higher than those guys. So I think I'm sitting Jacobs here. If you want to, have a decision between Hampton and Jacobs, that's where I'm at. And yeah, you're starting Evans and Chase. So I think I'm sitting Josh Jacobs. It's Jacobs or Hampton. And yeah, the Packers, they do need, like, they're in the playoffs. Like, that got locked yesterday, but they still need to win 2 more games, and the Bears need to lose 2 more games. So the Packers may rest players against the Vikings if the Bears beat the 49ers. So we'll see what happens next weekend, but that doesn't help us this weekend. I do like Taysom Hill, man. God dang it. I hate Taysom Hill, but I like Taysom Hill at the same time. He's a weird dude. And they just continue to give him touches. They owe him a lot of money, so they kind of have to keep him involved in the offense. But I think Taysom Hill, he's kind of the running back one now that Devin Neal and Kamara and Kendre Miller have all fallen. I'm just looking at Taysom Hill's numbers from last week again, one quick time here. I mean, he caught 4 passes for 36 yards, so he's involved as a receiver, but he carried the ball 12 times for 42 more yards, which was pretty nice. And then he threw a touchdown. So, like, you have so many avenues for Taysom Hill to hit. I think you have to play him. There's a lot of weirdness, this week. So I have him as my tight end 7 on the week. I'm in on Taysom Hill. I think the Chargers win this game. I think the Chargers are the better offense. They still have a good defense. I really don't have a lot of trust in the Texans offense to go out and win a game right now. I think CJ Stroud has not really taken reins here, and just the lack of running back health lately for the Texans has kind of hampered them. But they looked pretty bad against the Raiders, which concerns me. So I'm going Chargers tomorrow. It's in LA. I'm hoping for a good game to get us going on Saturday here, but I'm going to lean Chargers by 2 field goals. Hill or Stevenson? Hill or Stevenson? Who's Hill? Is that supposed to be Breece Hall? If it's Breece Hall, I'm going to go Stevenson. I'd rather have Stevenson in this game. Whew, defense is here. I don't have a lot of trust in this one, man. I think I'm going to go Philadelphia. It's in Buffalo. I don't have a ton of faith in the Bills' defense, but they're at home. I'll go Buffalo. If they can get a turnover or 2 and force Jalen Hurts out of his comfort zone, it just really requires Buffalo to play from a lead, I think. So I'm gonna go Bills. If you're asking for a fantasy defense, I hope there's a better option out there, but I'm gonna go Buffalo at home. And yeah, it should be. That's actually the best game, I think, on Sunday. So maybe that's the America's game of the week. That's the primetime slot there for the afternoon games, I believe. Yeah, so at least we get to watch that game. And then I do think Chicago-San Fran is going to be good TV. They're kind of battling out for some chops there. Can the Bears clinch the NFC North, and can they maintain their race on the 2 and the 1 seed? We'll see what happens. Who's going to win? Yeah, I'm going to lean Buffalo. It looks like Buffalo is 1.5-point favorites in this one. I'm not buying Buffalo's offense, man. It's been Josh Allen and James Cook, and they were able to survive last week with the huge James Cook game. But I find their passing weapons, lacking, and I want more from that group. So I think Philadelphia could go in and win this one, but I'm going to lean Buffalo here as Buffalo is starting to play some tough football. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. I'm probably going to do a Sunday morning live show if you guys want to hang out and get some final advice there. But AJ Brown's a good name to watch in the free agency. I don't know if his contract's up or if they have to trade him, but that would be really fun. I think the Bills keep trying to find players at the receiver position, but they keep striking out. They keep trying free agents, and they just have not been able to replace Stephon Diggs. And they've also tried to replace Gabe Davis with Keon Coleman, and then they bring Gabe Davis back. It's a bunch of questions there at the receiver position. So I think they need to spend some money there, or again, maybe draft another first round guy here. So Taysom Hill versus Ramondre Stevenson. I'm gonna go Taysom Hill. I feel pretty good about Taysom Hill. But there you have it, guys. If you guys do have any more questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter at the fellow KGB. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to go see the new Avatar movie tonight. You guys take it easy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Sunday morning. Peace.